Alright, I don't know if you guys can see me, but that's not important. What's important is that you see the Rampage toys. Gonna talk about the Rampage movie toys a little bit. Normally I don't throw into collecting anything from the core. What is that company? Lanard, Lanard, because they're sort of a knockoff G.I. Joe type company, and they make pretty, I don't know, they used to be known to make pretty cheap military figures, but here recently they've been cranking out some pretty quality stuff. And when I heard they had the what was it, Kong Skull Island and then the Rampage license, you know, I was like, well, I'm out on those. Kong, they didn't do so great with. Rampage, however, different story. When I saw the ape, the wolf, and the crocodile, I was like, that, I mean, it's detail quality stuff. And you can see them here. I'm going to give you a better look at each one. Before we talk about the monsters, let's just talk about the figures. There's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with his knife and pistol. He comes with George, the big white ape, right? That's pretty good. I mean, that's a good likeness. You're going to get a better Rock action figure if you get the ones that they made for the G.I. Joe Retaliation line. Those were better. Those were the best Rock action figures to date. But for a Lanard action figure, this is not bad. You get the, so with Lanard figures, if I get the ones that have the basic articulation, knees, elbows, shoulders, and all that stuff, I usually keep them because they're actually gotten a lot better. Here's a guy. The guys that I'm not talking about are the guys that were pre-posed, and those stink. So there's no sense in even having them in the video. But these have knees, waist, hip, ball-jointed hip, ball-jointed shoulder, elbows. It's pretty darn good. Now this guy, some of them don't have ball-jointed hips. He doesn't, but he's still a pretty good figure. This guy reminds me of Nate whatever from the Uncharted video games or whatever. But you know, as extra fodder for your action figure collection, you know, throwing it in with a G.I. Joe display, these guys work. So the figures are pretty good. Alright, let's talk about the big guys. The wolf. Fantastic. Look at the detail on this thing. I just couldn't believe that Lanard cranked these out, and he's got this, so he's got this feature. When you move his head, he chomps his jaw. Okay, and that's built in there, and I thought that was a nice, you know, for a company that's known for cheap product, this wasn't cheap. They went all out on this Rampage line, and I think he's articulated at these ankles here. He's got swivel shoulders, swivel hips. Tail looks pretty good there. He's not articulated back here, but just in the front. But yeah, he's got the head thing. I mean, look at that. This is going above and beyond. I think these are kind of hard to find now too, because they are so good. You know, even if you wanted G.I. Joe to have some gigantic monsters to take on, these would not be a bad choice, as they are in scale with that line. My personal favorite from the whole thing is this guy. Is it Lizzie? Look at that. Look at that. So I don't know if there's a button or a mechanism, but his things on the side there, they pop a little bit when he, check him out. Let's see if I can do that right. They pop a little bit when he chomps. But this is really a really good, look at the detail on this thing. I could not believe they did such a good job with this. You've got your battle swivel tail there. You can take out like 50 Joes with one swipe if you've got them all set up like dominoes or whatever. But yeah, the lizard from Rampage, one of the best monster creatures I've got in my collection. I saw this thing, at first I passed on it, and I went back and they were sold out, so I got really stressed over finding another one, but I finally found one. They went quick. You didn't see this guy in stores much, especially the crocodile. So he's fantastic. And then there's George. Hello, George. George is pretty cool. He's a big ape action figure. They did a good job with George. He's got some ankle articulation, especially he got hip articulation. Okay? They did not give, which I did not understand, they did not give King Kong hip articulation. So King Kong's good figure. It's the only one I got from Kong. Got him on clearance. I think I got him for like, I don't know, $8 or $9. on clearance. So I was glad to get him for that. I wanted to pay more than that for Kong. So yeah, not bad on Kong, but George is better. George is better. He's not quite as big, but his articulation and posability and playability is way better. You can see, you know, the scale is right there. You want to have these guys fight each other. George takes on the crocodile. George takes on the wolf. Wolf takes on the crocodile. Or they go head to head with Dwayne Johnson. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, let's try out that right there. Look at that. He's got Dwayne Johnson in his mouth, right? It's like, man, that's an expensive treat right there. That's an expensive lunch, because Dwayne Johnson's worth however many millions he's making in his movies now. The card backs, I kept those. They're pretty cool. There's a card back for the lizard. There's a card back for the wolf. I think I threw George's away. Sometimes I keep those just to know the date and the company whereby they were made. Anyway, guys, that's my Rampage stuff. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope to talk to you soon.